You think you know about relationships, but you're wrong. Listen, there's no magic bullet. I'm teaching life skills.
When you're sick, you need medicine. It don't always taste good, but it'll get you better. You need this medicine. It ain't gonna always taste good, but this is what you need. Men and women, bottom line, we need to have the conversation. Your partner wants to give up control, but only if you know how to drive. This is about being the best you could ever be, whoever you are. I don't care if you're a man, a woman, LGBTQ, space alien. I'll save anybody. I don't care. I'll teach a hedgehog how to have a threesome.
What do you mean by that?
Look, you don't have to listen to me, but you're wrong.
Listen, I know I'm great. And I know you're thinking, Dante, there's no way I could be like you. But you could be me, you know why?
Because you know who I was? Before I was me, I was you.
Man, score 202.
Better hear what I've got to say because you won't get it again.
I'm not an alpha male. I'm not a beta male either. I'm just a better man. Well, put your happiness first, because if you don't, they won't.
Yo, what up? GYBB, get your balls back. WWDD, what would Dante do? Sexual Revolutions being podcasted. I feel like shit. Just so y'all know. So if y'all got some stuff y'all want to talk about, make sure you get it in. I'm doing an hour and I'm out. I got a fever. But I don't want to let my peoples down. So this is where I'm at. You feel me? That's where I'm at. Feel me? What up, y'all? What up? Good to be here. I'm not feeling great, but I'm here for y'all. Because that's how we get down. Anybody's in the chat? Please, let me know. Oh, shit. Hold on. Anybody in the chat? Please. Give me a thumbs up if you hear me clear. The audio is kicking. Please. I would appreciate that with all my heart and soul. Whatever that means. Phone lines are up, I believe. Let me check the phone lines. Y'all got an hour with me because I am feeling horrible. I am fevered, stuffy. So I'm not doing good, but I'm here. And I'm a little excited about a few things. How we sound, y'all? Who's in the chat? Shout out to Mark Murray, 27. Intuitive Mind, what's up? Timothy Martin, what's up? Thumbs up, good. Okay, we sounding good. That's good. I think we're on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and X. So I'm just letting everybody come in real quick, get in before I start spitting the gems. This is something I was thinking about. And I know this is going to sound very church-like to a certain extent. Thank you. RJD in the building, steak sandwich in the building. The regulars are coming in. Plus some. Anybody new in the chat, give me a thumbs up if y'all new in the chat. Appreciate that. This is something that Z&D Harmonies, what's going on? Something I was thinking about. And this goes to, like, I just want to say thank you to everybody who signs up for the Patreon people who sign up, send the Cash App and all that, because what's really what I was thinking about in the interim is something that I practice is there are creators. Mike Williams, what's up? There are creators that I watch on YouTube, and I enjoy their content and I enjoy what they're doing. And I wanted to just say, because my fans have been really great about hitting the Cash App and signing up for the Patreon. And I'm always like, I always screaming, give me some money. But I just want to say that I really, really appreciate all that you guys do, because of the fact that as much as I appreciate it, I realize also that part of this, let me check the phones real quick before part of Xavier, what's going on? Always on point. Shout out to Xavier for the $5. Thank you, Xavier, y'all. I appreciate you, brother. Always appreciate you. What's interesting is there's something because I do it automatically. Like if I watch content creators, right? I absolutely I give to them. I donate to them. And one of the reasons why I continuously I give to them is because it's part of the principles. And what do I mean by that? I mean, it's part of credibility. I mean, if you got somebody who's first of all, did I give Xavier? I gave Xavier my thank you, Xavier, for the $5. Part of supporting the creators that you support, that you watch regularly, and that you look for their content is part of the credibility is that you support to them. And I do it automatically. But I just wanted to say I really appreciate that my fans are doing that. They are noticing that, okay, look, like Xavier comes in, and even if it's $5 or whatever, Xavier will hit me up and go, yo, here, I appreciate what you're doing. Here's a little something. And that allows me to keep doing this. But part of it is one of the reasons why I shout dudes like Xavier out is because I mean, sure, because I give him $5. Yeah, that's part of it. But the other part of it is that big shout to Michael on the Cash App. Michael with $20. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you, Michael, with the $20. Because here's what I find that happens. When part of credibility is to support the people that support you. Support the people that go, that get down for you, the people who look out for you, who show up, and anybody will tell you, and I mean anybody will tell you, anybody that's done a consultation to me, I've never been in a situation where I, like where I'm on the phone with them and it's 59, 58, 57, 57. Like I'm not counting down the time. I mean, sometimes I go over, I go 15 minutes, sometimes 20, sometimes 30. Even when I get a young dude who doesn't, even when I get a young dude who maybe not have the paper, I know he's hurting, and I know he's in an emotional state. So because of that, I give him some more time, or I wait to get him right, so that I could get him straight, so he's not in a situation where he's, where he's he's leaving with this idea of like he can't, he doesn't know how to move forward.
To accept, press 1.
Hold
To send
on.
a voicemail, press
He doesn't know how to move forward. So I've always been that way. Like anybody who's done a consultation with me knows that, I'm not going to say that the time limits are a suggestion, but I give a fuck. I care whether or not you're helped. I care that you have a direction, and a lot of times I won't hang up until I know at least you have a direction. So guys like Xavier and Michael and guys who sign up for the Patreon and guys who hit me on the PayPal and Michael Williams and Xavier, who give, it's part of your personal growth, right? Because if you're practicing credibility, like what you have to understand is that there's no like I've always said, you've heard me say this, if you're 85% trustworthy, that's the definition of a liar. So you could be authentic, yes. You could even be credible, yes. But if you're not empathetic, the whole plan goes to shit. You got to be all of these things. Because when you're all of these things, you gain a level of confidence. And the confidence comes from that, and I'm a firm believer of this, that if you're practicing those 3 principles, I don't think you could be a better human being. That doesn't mean you're perfect. That doesn't mean you don't make no mistakes. That means that you get up, put your feet on the floor, and you approach life with truth and credibility and empathy. And if you approach life like that, I don't think you could be better. I really don't think you could be a better human being. And there's consistency. It's funny, I was watching they did the Trump ball or whatever, and I think this is interesting because the way that they responded was deeply different, right? Snoop Dogg was like, he has video where he said, yo, any of y'all do that ball, you selling out, blah, 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 blah. And then he's in a tuxedo, right? Whereas Soulja Boy said, man, I got bills. I got to secure the bag. And because I'm securing the bag, I got to do what I can do. And I don't think wherever you fall on that, that's consistent with life. You know what I mean? Because you're just being honest. Like Soulja Boy is such a wild dude. He's like, yo, I'm broke. I look, ain't nobody knocking their doors down for Soulja Boy. So I need this money for this gig. Whereas Snoop, who came out so hard against performing for the inaugural, or just in general, like last year or before, or I guess he's talking about before in 20. Then he just picks up and does it. Now, far as I'm concerned, what Snoop Dogg did was just hypocritical. He's a dude who you can't trust, who takes a position, right? Who takes a position, and then reneges on his position, which I can't trust that guy no more. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm not even watching a Corona commercial no more. Whereas Nelly, instead of saying I needed the money or whatever, he gave all these other excuses and whatever. Like, I would rather somebody just be honest, yo, I needed the money. And none of y'all put no money in my pocket. I got to do what I got to do. You feel me? So this is all about credibility. So when dudes come in, and they come in evening after evening, and they listen in, and they in the chats and whatnot, and even if they just give $5, man, I really appreciate it. I really, really appreciate it, because it's clearly a situation where You know, where it just shows that you're practicing the principles on every level. I'm not saying you're not if you don't give. I'm just saying you know who you are. If you're in here every day, it's one thing if you're sampling my content, but if you're soul and you're here and you're doing what it do, and you don't ever lift a finger to support, that's just not credibility, So I just wanted to say that. Intuitive Minds has a question. Let's see. What does he say? Oh, we got a call. So let's get it.
Press 1 to send a voice.
Yo, what's up? What's your name? Where you calling from?
Labby from Seattle.
What's up, Labby? What's going on? How can I help you, family?
So, my girl was she was telling me a story about how one of her friends had met a dude on Tinder and they were like hitting it off and texting back and forth for like a week. He had plans a date or something, and out of nowhere he stops communicating. And I guess she started internalizing it. And I thought about you, and I wanted what would be something to tell her that she could use to kind of move past that little hump that she went through.
Well, I guarantee you that your girl's friend is in a situation where she's done that to somebody else, right? She's, had a guy who she wasn't really interested in, and it was fun texting back and forth or responding back and forth, but she had no intention on seeing this guy or actually hitting up with this guy, right? So what's interesting is,
I would imagine so.
What's interesting is the lack of empathy, right? The lack of accountability, that you do that to somebody else, and then all of a sudden when somebody does it to you, all of a sudden it's a tragedy, right? So
yeah,
but this is where the empathy comes in. Your empathy is to look at the situation from somebody else's perspective and say, yo, this is you've done this. I mean, what girl hasn't done that? And I don't mean because she's not sure. I don't mean just because you've been too creepy where she don't feel like she could talk to you or whatever. I'm saying with the intention on dragging a dude on, right? And what I would say is everybody gets got. That means you too. Just because you cute and you got a little fat booty and some nice little perkies doesn't mean it can't happen to you too. So when you do it to other people, right? I'm not a person who believes in karma, right? But I do believe in probability, meaning I don't believe that the world balances itself out. You do bad things come back on you. But I do believe if you're a thief and you a stick-up kid and you keep sticking up people, right? Eventually you're gonna crap out, right? The numbers say that. It's not this grand power that balances things out, right? It just, if you keep rolling the dice, eventually you're gonna lose, right? We understand that. So the point is, and that doesn't stop because even when you are righteous, but when you are righteous about how you treat people, you can move away from it much more. You're more solid. But I guarantee you that she's feeling this because she liked this dude and she's done this to guys on a regular. And now the shoe's on the other foot and she's like, oh my God, what? How could he not want to take my vagina? I'm trying to give him some, right? But here's my thing. Even if she was righteous and she was accountable and she said, hey, I've done this to guys and I really, really feel like I shouldn't have done that. And she learns from this lesson. She won't be so focused on him not calling because of the fact that there's a bigger picture here. Do you know what I mean? It's like anybody that listens to my content, Real game is no game. Yes, I can teach you I can teach you game. I can teach you technique. I can say, do this, don't do that, do this. But the bottom line, the reason why it works is because you're a righteous dude. And that doesn't mean that every girl is going to like you because you're a righteous dude. But what I'm saying is you approach women with more confidence because you know there's not a lot of guys who are honest, who are credible, who are empathetic. So she can play around, she can fuck around and find out, but all later on she's gonna regret it. She may not regret it. It may not even be directly regretted from you because if you didn't get a chance to show her how dope you are. But what happens is because it's sort of like this. If you don't lie ever, right? And somebody calls you a liar, you don't feel any kind of way about that because you like that's just not true.
Yeah.
But when you are lying and you're shady and somebody calls it hits home, hits home in a personal way because deep down you know you full of shit. So we're not being righteous just for the women. We're doing it for ourselves. It's the thing that builds our confidence. So I think you got to tell her, look, you have you done this to somebody before? And I mean, you can ask her, but you already know she has. And you let her know, listen, you can't make somebody do what you don't want them to do. But this is devastating for you because you never thought it could happen to you. And now it's happening to you. And when you acknowledge that and you have the empathy of that, when it happens to you, you don't take it personal because you know that you're better than that. Make sense?
Yeah, but to that effect, though, if you're somebody that doesn't say she wasn't somebody that did that kind of stuff, say she had never did that at all.
That's bullshit.
Would she then be somebody who? But of course she did. But say she had never. Was she be less susceptible to feeling some type of way?
No, well, yeah, I think so because you know what your value is. When you're kind to people and somebody says you're not a kind, I've had the girl tell me because I couldn't. She wanted to borrow some money and I wasn't giving her. She called me cheap, right? And nobody could call me cheap. As much bills as I've paid and help people out when people are. So if you call me cheap, you lose all credibility for saying something that's just not true. Now I go, yo, get it. Oh, you one of those. You're a liar. You know what I mean? I go, oh, you're a liar. I get it. You full of shit. And because you full of shit, I don't pay you no mind. Because you lose credit, she loses credibility. So if she's appalled by this and you point out that she's done it to other people, and it's not the fact that she can't feel the way she feels, but you got to explore why she feels the way she feels. She feels the way she feels because she's put other people in that position. Make sense?
Yeah.
So, she should be kinder. If she's not, she doesn't have to sleep with everybody who hits her up, but every girl I've ever met has done this, put a guy in the friend zone and took advantage and got a meal or got a date and had no intention on being with the dude in the first place.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say. Okay?
Okay, no, that's very fair, actually. That makes a lot of sense.
And once you practice these principles, just like I'm saying, when you practice it in every aspect of your life, right? Like even when I talk about, like dudes who listen to the content and they come in, soon as they come in, they hit the Cash App or they sign up for the Patreon. They know that I'm bringing them value, and because they're honest about the fact that I'm giving them value with my content, they feel an obligation to go, yo, I don't have a lot, I don't know, but here's a little something, bam. You feel me?
Yeah.
Same thing. Okay?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, bro. Thank you.
Appreciate you, Jonathan.
All right, bro.
Okay.
In other words, give me some money. No, I'm yeah, it's important. And there's I always say this, I say this 100 times. If you're 95% trustworthy, that's the definition of a liar. So, and when you're telling the truth, it's because, and you're maintaining your credibility, it's because you know your worth. There's no denying it. And the fact that you're willing to risk not not saying what somebody wants to hear or lying to somebody just because they want to hear it, it changes your attitude. It's like, it's I watch that goofy show sometimes when people pop the balloon, right? You ever see the guy that comes out and pops their balloon first? There's a certain confidence about that, It changes the dynamic of the power. Hold on, we got another call.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press...
Hey, yo, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Hi, Dante. This is Rose calling from Los Angeles.
Hey, Ruth, how are you? How can I help you, darling?
I am doing good. Big fan. I feel like I agree with pretty much everything you say.
I feel like there's a but.
No. I haven't listened recently. That's the only but.
Okay, all right.
I used to always listen to Beige Phillip.
Yeah.
Man School.
Oh, thank you, man.
It's been a little while.
Thank you. What can I help you with?
I appreciate you. I respect you. So I am preparing to marry my boyfriend.
Okay.
And we have not quite flushed out money and finances.
Okay.
And I was wondering if you had any advice. We both make good money. He's comfortable with me working less and kind of joining his enterprise. We're both entrepreneurs.
Okay.
We want to have kids pretty soon.
What kind of entrepreneur are you?
So I'm an attorney. He's in entertainment.
What kind of entertainment?
He does hosting, live streaming, red carpets.
Okay. All right. You know what? Put it in the chat. Maybe we get you some work. Okay.
Okay, I will. But yeah, if you have any advice on structuring finances, we're both, late 30s, independent, used to spending on ourselves.
Yeah.
And so the transition into how are we going to spend on each other and on our marriage and then eventually on kids.
So here's my thing. First of all, I think that you're way ahead of the game simply because you're asking this question. This question puts you so far ahead of everybody else because of the fact that what you're in essence saying is that you're recognizing that this is an issue. Majority of relationships that break up, they break up because people don't have that conversation, Yeah. And so and I mean, not just the finances, did y'all work out the sex as well?
Oh yeah, we worked out most things.
Okay. All right, that's good.
So this is the money thing is like the big one that we haven't quite tackled.
Well, I just want to say this for the record that they're all big things. Do you know what I mean? Like I think we put an emphasis on one thing or the other. Like I always say that people are three-dimensional. We're intellectual, we're emotional, and we're physical. And all three of those things are equally as important. And so this stuff has to work out. And y'all gotta figure out what your non-negotiables are and then state what those are and then move forward and keep your word. Because I mean, if you're credible, you know what I'm saying, and he is credible, then you'll be together forever,
Yeah.
And even if y'all grow out of each other, you will still respect each other and be able to move forward in a way that's not detrimental to either one of you. Okay. So I would say you gotta always get a legal pad and just write down what those non-negotiables are financially. What you want, what are your things that you're not, what are the most important things to you, whether it be the fact that you take time out to go on vacations, the fact that you want a college fund for the kids, the fact that you want to live in a house. Maybe you don't want to live in a house. Maybe you'd rather a condo because, I sold my house and I never want to live in a house unless of course I got enough money for groundskeepers, like I don't want to put a light bulb in the bathroom. I don't even want to do that. I want to go, hey, the light is out. Somebody do that, because I grew up in a house and we really couldn't afford the house, and so everything was patch and put a Band-Aid on a bullet hole. So and it just took away from so much of my own life because of the fact that the house I was always, I was out working. I was working days on my at the phone company. I was working nights at comedy and acting, and then I was working weekends and afternoons during the day with the house. And so I think when you delegate, find out what it is you want to do, what's important to you, what are the things that you're trying to achieve, what are the things that you need to do, and how you can go about. And if you just have a plan, because it's not, I really can't tell you how to do it because everybody's situation is different. There's some women who don't want to work, right? But if you're going to go, I don't want to work, right? And then what you need to do is you need to take the brunt of making that home a peaceful place. Do you want to work some of the times? Are you going to delegate some of the work, the housework and whatever? Who's going to take care of this? Who's going to take care of that? I think if you just start out with a list of things that you want to accomplish and then figure out and put them in an order of what is non-negotiable, what is important, and what are the things that you don't mind compromising. I think you start there, and then you got to sit down and it's like the FBA, it's like the draft, Big shout out to Brandon with the $5. Thank you, Brandon. And I think if you do that, there's no one size fits all. It's just something that you got to figure out based on what's important to you and what's important to him. Understand that both of y'all come from different households. Things are done different. And even though you're compatible, when you get married and you live together, you want to work those things out before they're questioned. And if there is a non-negotiable, and at least you don't end up in a marriage with something where something is irreconcilable. Make sense?
Right. Yeah, thank you.
But have him write down what's important to him. You write down what's non-negotiable for you. Then what's important, and then what you'd like, but you could pass on or you could not pass on. You know what I mean? And that goes for even if you like pets and you want a dog. You know what I mean? Like I really want a dog, but is that do we really have time for a dog? And you go, yeah, well, I'll take care of him because I'll be like, because I can't come home and walk no dog. You know what I mean? So when we work these things out and we're honest about it, and the fact that we respect each other and we're negotiating this in good faith, right? Then we're not lying about we're not afraid to be ourselves. We can be who we are. And if it don't work, if we're at opposite ends of the spectrum, then we just don't get married,
Right, for sure.
Make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
You're very welcome, sweetheart. Thank you for calling.
Of course. Thanks for your words. Have a great night.
All right, good night.
Thanks.
I'm trying to get to these questions in the chat. Let's see. Let me get the phones back up. Yo, $10 from Christian Dyer. Thank you, brother, on the PayPal. Thank you, brother. Thank you so much. Let's see. I watched the Professor Dave episode. We're gonna deal with that with Godfrey tomorrow. I had a question here. I appreciate you. Have you ever experienced a woman when angry, running away from you, insulting you and shaming you, making you feel guilty? Absolutely. I've gone through that, man. I used to tell this story all the time when I was in college, I remember it was actually, I was in the Bronx and I was going to a photo shoot, and my girl at the time was cussing me out and this, and then I was sitting on the train. I didn't have no car. I was young, and she got up and sat on the other side of the train, and then I went over across and sat on the other side. I was like, "What's up? Talk to me." I was real goofy. I was like, "Talk to me, please. I want, come on. Why you acting like this? Why?" And then it just hit me. It's like, why am I going through this kind of abuse if somebody doesn't want to treat me the way that I want to treat? And the doors opened up, and I just got off. I got off the train, and it was such an empowering thing to just say, "No, I'm not letting you treat me like that." And once I did that, the whole relationship changed, because people who treat you like that, they're treating you like that because you're letting them, you know. And when you stop letting them, they're either going to change. Like, so let me explain this real quick. Like, when you have people who are abusive in nature, right? Oh, I forgot to turn the phones on. When you have somebody who's abusive, they will abuse other people, right? If you're not a big enough dickhead, right, they will abuse you. But if you're a bigger jerk than they are, then you will abuse them. See, when you have abusive people, there's two archetypes. One is the abuser and one's the abusee. They don't care which part they play in this movie. Just somebody's got to get shitted on and somebody's got to do the shitting. And because they're not satisfied until both of those archetypes in this shitty play is fulfilled. So they will dog you until you start dogging them, because you got to understand, they come from a toxic home life. And so if things are going well, it makes them uncomfortable because it's not what they're used to. They're not accustomed to somebody being respectful. They're not accustomed to somebody being kind. They're not accustomed to somebody hearing them out. And so because you're doing that, what they're basically saying in their head, wow, this person sees me as likes me, and I don't like me. So if you like me too much, in my mind, I'm going, well, something might be wrong with you, because clearly I know I ain't shit. How come you don't know I ain't shit? And so what do? You take the other position. You become abusive. And it sometimes you can work on those relationships, but sometimes it's people are so caught up in that trauma that the norm is always toxic, and if they don't have those archetypes, they will absolutely they will create those archetypes. So you'll find, I mean, we all have a boy or a friend of ours that anytime he's in a relationship, it's crazy time. You know, it's always some crazy chick who's cheating and stepping out and going through his phone and arguing and fighting. You know what I mean? And that never ends, because that's what their constitution is. So phone lines are open. So yeah, I've had that. Like emotionally unstable. I was with that woman who quickly moved on to someone else. I had enough and called it off. Was intense despite her good side. Still, now here's the thing. It's just like, when you say her good side, that's always a problem for me, because what you're in essence saying is, she has a good side and a bad side. You have to take people in their total entirety. If somebody is shitty, right, and then they're good sometimes, that's somebody who's shitty. You don't get to, because here's what's going to happen. You're dooming yourself to be in relationships that are toxic, and people, you're dealing with people who don't mean you happiness. They're so caught up in their trauma and whatever's going on with them that they're not really interested in making you happy. You got to have somebody who wants you to be happy. And they should want to make you happy, and you should want to make them happy. And if you're not if that's not where you're at, don't be in a relationship. Because even if you want to make them happy and they want to make you happy, right? You still might not be right for each other. It still might not line up. Okay, let's get this call. Come on.
To accept, press 1. To send.
Yo, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, what's going on? It's Antonio from Austin.
What's up, Antonio? How you doing?
Hey, man.
How can I help you, brother? Antonio, can you hear me?
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm good.
How can I help you, brother?
Not meaning to get political or anything like that on the eve of Inauguration Day, but I think this kind of just goes with, here I'll just say the example, and I think you'll get what I mean. You know how it seems like assholes can get very, very far ahead in life. You're in the entertainment industry. I'm sure you understand this as well. And then you got like, Trump, rising to power and all that stuff. And it's like, it makes you think, makes you kind of want to be an asshole, and not that.
Okay,
just
let me ask you this.
It seems like
let me ask you this
to get ahead.
Let me ask you this. When have you ever seen Trump laugh? Like belly laugh, like smile and belly laugh. When have you ever seen that?
No.
Never, right?
No, it's just that Cheshire cat.
Right. So it's like, it's almost like, and I mean, look, let's be honest. If anybody got the world by their balls, Trump does, right? Why don't we ever see him happy? Why don't we see him happy with his kids? Why don't we see him happy with his wife? Why don't we see him happy? I mean, he's winning all the time, but I've never seen him happy. Here's a crazy thing. Oh, and somebody said, "Can you see me at this Comedy Cellar?" No, the Comedy Cellar doesn't work me. But what I want to say is, a lot of times, like Dave Chappelle, and I like Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle is one of the first guys that put me on TV, right? But Dave Chappelle did this SNL, right? And he usually, when he comes to the city, he shuts down the city, has a huge party, right? And all the comics go out, right? But Dave is probably like 50-something years old, about 55 or something like that. And I watched Dave like drink an entire liter of tequila. Not a few drinks, not kind of pissy. I'm saying a liter of fucking, agave, like a whole ass liter. So if you know anything about somebody, right, especially at 50 years old, right? I don't care how great shape you are. It ain't easy to knock down a liter of tequila, right? So what can we discern from that? Yes, there's money, there's prestige, there's creativity, all of those things. But when you're doing it like that, right? When you're doing it hard like that, something's wrong. You're trying to change your state. You're trying to not live in your reality. You're living in an alternate reality. And I'm not a prude. I'm all about getting your drink on and get your smoke on. And he'll have like a half a pound of weed, and he'd be rolling up and smoking and drinking and smoking and drinking. But you're a married man with kids, and you know what I'm saying? And you're doing a liter. And I'm saying this happens every time he's in the city. It's a liter of vodka, shitload of. That's somebody who is self-medicating, right?
Right.
So
something's off, right?
On the
Is it the
surface,
integrity is off or something?
Yeah, something's wrong with that.
Feeling like
something is definitely wrong with that. So I often watch people who are supposed to be super successful And then there's no real happiness. I mean, I don't think anybody who knows me would say that I'm not a happy person, you know? Now I don't got that kind of money, and I don't have those cars, and I don't, you know what I mean? All of that. I don't ride in the private jet or none of that, but I'm a happy dude. And the fact that I can come here, go live, talk to you guys, help you guys, and just that you're the respect that grows for me because then I'm righteous and stuff makes me happy, you know? If somebody medicates in that way, there's something else going on. Now, I'm not no psychiatrist, but I mean, I think that's an evident thing where you can say, you know, I mean, when do you see Elon laugh? He's a weirdo, you know? This guy's 250 pounds, you know what I mean? He's just a weirdo. And not only he's a weirdo, but he's a Bond villain. You know what I mean? Like when does it end? When is it like you got 11 kids, a different baby mamas, you got a trans kid that you don't deal with? Like it's just like where is all that money? And I've seen this over and over again where dudes who got that paper like that, it's not. I think we have to really reevaluate what happiness is, you know? And
100%. I don't know if it's exactly been defined, you know, or no one it's there, you know. That's you pursue it. Maybe it's somewhere else. Maybe it's in the presidency, you know, for
I mean, dog, he
you know
literally
what I mean? Like, it's different, man.
tried to overthrow the government, and then they elected him again. Like, you are winning, dog. You know what I mean? Like,
you could say that's what makes him happy is success.
Yeah,
and
but
power,
you never see the joy. You never see.
You don't. Yeah, but like you don't know depression or and stuff like that. It keeps you down. You know, like you have to be in a pretty good state of mind to even continue doing that. He's like 75 years old. You know, like that's not a sadness. That's keeping him from growing.
But isn't that a sadness? I don't disagree with you. I don't think he knows how to be happy. But you know what I'm saying? I've never seen him laugh. Do you know what I mean? It's like it's almost sociopathic. No. Never seen like a belly laugh where I mean, come on, you in your whole life, you never found nothing funny. You know, it's a smirk. It's weird to me. It's really weird to me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's almost sociopathic, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's just, but even in like the, the world I live in, it's more just, working, I guess, 9 to 5-ish job and that kind of thing. And you want to get ahead, but then you realize sometimes you need to you can't be 100% honest all the time. Like sometimes you got to shade the numbers, put on a couple hours. I work in construction, it's just like, well, maybe that took 8 hours. You always need to be dead honest with, the hours and your work, and how much you paid and all that.
I think where
you tough in every aspect of life.
Yeah, but I also think it's where you're at and what you see. I mean, we all know that you're underpaid, and we're all underpaid, and then people are not paid what they're worth, and so on and so forth. And I think I really don't mind you splitting the hairs when it comes to that. I mean, but I also, we're also not talking about embezzlement. You know what I mean? Like we're also not talking about that. You do what you want to do. Man, I love my life, man. I love talking to y'all. I love being able to help y'all. I love, man, it's nothing better than looking in the contacts in the comments and dudes to be like, man, you changed my life, man. You made it better, man. Thank you so much, man. I called you. How many times have people call in and go, man, I called you 4 years ago and I was a man, and I asked him, how did it go? What's going on with that? Oh yeah, I'm fine with that. They were already on to the next one. I mean, how dope is that?
Yeah. Yeah, man. You could change directions of people's lives, and usually towards I imagine betterment. I know mine, and so I think you're on the right.
Thank you, man.
The right
but
path
I'm gonna tell you honestly, I don't I'm not really hungry. Do you know what I mean? I'm never hungry. So I mean, I just bought I was doing that flat. I was going through this back and forth thing with these flat earthers, right? So I bought a $1,500 telescope. Like, went on the roof and looked at you know what I'm saying? Like, so am I I'm not starving, dog. You know what I mean?
Aren't you in Brooklyn?
Yeah, I'm in Brooklyn.
Or New York or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm in Brooklyn.
And you got a telescope?
Yeah.
Can you even see the stars on?
Yeah, man, you go on the roof
in New York?
Man, I saw the moon last night. I saw the ISS, the International Space Station. I saw the satellites. Yeah,
true.
Yeah,
so the light
man, you could absolutely.
But anyway.
Absolutely. Put it on the roof, chained it on the roof. I was like, and I got an automatic one where once you calibrate it, you just hit the coordinates and it goes right to whatever you're looking for. It's fucking great. But you know what I mean? I'm not starving.
Yeah.
You know, I just right. I'm teaching myself how to play the drums. I just spent $3,500 on a new drum set, you know? And I don't know how to play drums. Yeah. You know what I mean? So like, I'm not.
You're kind of doing what you want.
Yeah,
when you want in a way.
I'm doing exactly what I want, and I'm still helping people. And
which
I'm not
is privilege.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah,
and you've always, like, but a lot of people just aren't in that position. You know.
Yeah.
I'm saying you shouldn't be grateful, but
yeah, but being righteous gets you there. You feel me? Being righteous like that will get you. So I know it's hard. But when you are righteous, I mean, I ain't gonna lie, man, it works out. Does it all work out? Do you get everything you want? No. But that's the point. That's living life. Living life is going through the duration and getting to the finish line, you know?
Yeah.
So,
and I had another quick one regarding family. Like I'm doing pretty well in career and all that stuff,
right.
But like I came from a family with alcoholism, poverty,
right.
working class kind of type. And just wanted to see when you kind of get in a role of caretaking and you feel bad for looking them when you've grown so much. What do you like where the loyalties lie with family? What do you mean?
What do you mean when you're outgrowing them?
Yourself. When it feels like it, you know.
Hey, you gotta cut them loose. You gotta cut them loose.
Jesus, I thought you were gonna say that. Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta cut them loose because you know what I mean. Or at least here's my solution with that solution, because I went through that whole thing and I had people who I felt like I was outgrowing. What I realized is if I only give what I can give without looking for it in return. You know what I mean? So if it's money, I will lend you the amount of money that if you don't pay me back, it doesn't screw up my life. You know what I mean? This way,
tough, though, man.
If you take advantage and you don't pay me back, all you did was that's the best money I ever spent to get you out of my life because you don't care about me. And it took me this incident or this situation to find out that you're not worth my time. So it becomes the best money I ever spent, you know? So that when there is a big situation or something big that I need somebody, I'm not counting on that person, you know? Because I know that they're incapable of it, and it doesn't. And this way, I don't have to put myself in a funky situation with people who are incapable of being what I need. And you got to just cut them off.
In my position, they're not necessarily like assholes or like they're not going to take from you or lying, but it's more just like the lifestyle they choose.
Well, let me put it to you like this. I get it because it's like, well, they don't really take from me. So, I can still maintain the relationship.
They're kind people.
Right.
Yeah.
But the point is also, you have to understand that when it gets to the point where it is, because here's where I'm at. How old are you?
35.
Okay. So you're getting to a point where just because somebody is not a whole entire asshole, doesn't mean, see, time is the commodity, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you're 58, right, what happens is wasting time with people who are unworthy becomes more serious because you have less time left, you know? So when I was in my 40s, I was like, I'm not going to deal with nobody who's constantly taking from me. And then when I became 50, I was like, well, I'm not just going to not fuck with people who don't take from me, but I'm not going to fuck with people who waste my time. Right? Because wasting my time is time. I have a limited amount of time and I'm spending it on people who don't deserve it. So the time diminishes, time becomes, it's just like anything else. I talk about this when we talk about ACE. It's supply and demand. It says the more valuable you are because you're honest, because you're credible, because you're empathetic, because of those things, you become a commodity because nobody else is doing it. So if a girl is on Tinder and she talks to 10 guys, how many of them tell the truth, are credible, and also empathetic? Probably none. So when they're when you ask a girl and she's like, what do you bring to the table? And they're going, I am the table. You go, yeah, okay, I gotta go. Because you clearly don't get it. Because I know my friends ain't shit. You know what I mean? So it's not like there's an abundance of righteous people who you have to pick from. You may think you do, but you don't. You don't. We got a bunch of people on the live right now, and there's a bunch of guys who are at least making an attempt to be authentic and credible and empathetic. But how many people? I mean, I would be pressed to say that anybody's on this live right now, they're making even if they haven't succeeded and they're still learning, they're way better than their friends.
Yeah, 100%.
And family members. And uncles and cousins and siblings. You're better than them because most people don't have a principle. They don't have a call. They don't have an ethic that they're trying to match up to. They don't understand what their ideal self looks like that. So they're just waking up every day and kind of floating around in a boat with no oars, letting the current take them. When you start to be intentional about how the decisions you make,
how you feel,
everything changes.
Like kind of how you wake up, what you want to do, what you don't want to do, and honoring that feeling, chocolate or vanilla, and being like, I want vanilla,
all butter pecan today. I want butter pecan. You know what I mean? Like that's, and so now you're fulfilling these needs and fulfilling happiness, and you're fulfilling, when you look in the mirror, you like what you see. I mean, who does that? If you think about it, all your friends that you have, how many of them look in the mirror and are self-aware enough that they're righteous dudes who like what they see? I guarantee you'd be hard pressed because I don't have a lot of them.
Playing it safe or something, you know what I mean?
Or egotistical, or caught up with some trauma from childhood, or it's just. And so, there's people that I tolerate in my life, but I don't know anybody that practices things the way I practice, I don't know anybody like that.
Yeah, what do you want to say? Like, your honesty sharpens other people.
And they won't, and when they're dishonest, they will not fuck with you. They will not fuck with you. They will get away from you because they know that you're honest. Eventually, if they start lying, you're gonna call them out.
Yeah.
So I mean, I've never seen that dude smile. Never. Kind of a Cheshire cat smirk. But even when he's winning, never seen. Isn't that weird that you never seen that dude belly laugh ever?
No, but I mean, we don't know what happens. Like,
I'm saying, who? I mean, look. Let me tell you something. I use this analogy. I love grunge rock, right? Kurt Cobain changed the face of rock and roll, right? With grunge rock, with his genre, and then blew his fucking head off. You feel me?
Right. All these people in garages, like, like how do you influence?
Literally blew his fucking. I mean, Will Smith is great. Maybe at least one of the greatest of all time, and he's in a house with a witch who is tormenting him daily.
Right. Yeah, sometimes like you never really want to know. Not
Right?
saying like
Private
these people are my hero.
Jo-
These people are my heroes, but sometimes the more layers you
yeah,
get,
you
know about
like,
them,
whoa,
it humanizes them. Yeah.
Look at fucking Hulk Hogan. Dirtbag. Oh, and what's crazy is Hulk Hogan's 80, right? He's at a place where people should be reveling in the fact that he's one of the old heads, 80 years old, and they're booing him.
Oh, really?
Oh, you didn't see this? When you Google it, they boo. He tried to sell some goofy beer. And, with all the racist stuff that he did, and there's all the shady stuff, and then,
Yeah.
they talk about them trying to. Rosetta, thank you so much for the $10. Thank you. Thank you, Rosetta. Yeah, they booed him.
Yeah,
When you get off Google Hulk Hogan, they booed him out the building. So now imagine that. You've accomplished all of this. And at the end, at the swan song of your life, you're 80 years old, and people are going, yeah, we ain't fucking with you. Get the fuck out. Whew.
Yeah, fuck.
Yeah, I don't know if
I end up drinking that bottle of tequila.
Yeah, man.
He gave something up.
And I mean, I'm saying when you Google it, watch it, call back next. Let me see. Tuesday, we'll be calling Tuesday and remind me. I mean, they booed him out the fucking building, bro.
I gotta check that out.
All right.
Wow. Fuck.
I appreciate you, bro.
Thanks for the time. Take it easy. Have a good night.
Good night, bro.
Right, peace.
Please. I'm sick as a dog, yo. I got a fever. I got chills. I did want to come on and kick it with y'all a little bit. Just shout out to everybody. Just shout out to everybody who hit the Cash App and the PayPal. I really appreciate y'all. But I gotta get into bed, man. I'm really feeling it. I feel that chill running up my spine. So I think I'm gonna shut it down. But I appreciate y'all, man. I love y'all, man. And I'm so happy that every day I'm so happy with the growth that I get from my peoples. You know what I'm saying? Real quick, if y'all want to support the show, please, best sign up for the Patreon and support us. It's the lowest tier, just helps us keep doing it. If you want, don't forget to comment and share it to people and stuff like that. I really appreciate that. And don't forget the one-on-one consultation. One-on-one consultations is DanteNero.com. Click on consult. Yo, I love y'all, man. I'm out. We're going to make it a little short, but I'll make it up on Tuesday. Holla.